We've had two feature interviews with each leader so far in this campaign. We're waiting to hear from the Abbott camp as to when they'll be available this week. But tonight we talk with Julia Gillard for the final time before the election. I recorded this interview with the Prime Minister in Brisbane this afternoon. Julia Gillard, your launch today must have been the most last-minute launch in political campaign history. Why did you force the voters to wait until the 30th day of the campaign to make your main speech, where traditionally the leader pulls all the elements together, presumably for the voters' benefit?
Well, I think I've done just that today, Kerry. Across this campaign, we have been outlining important policies and plans for the nation's future. My plan for a strong economy, for the future of Australian schools, for the future of healthcare, to tackle climate change and to invest in the national broadband network. I did pull all of that together today, but it's building on the policies that we have outlined step by step during the campaign.
But why so late? Was it about some clever Labor strategy? Because it certainly wasn't about helping voters decide, otherwise you could have done it 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Kerry, I think a lot of voters will decide in this last week, and I think what they're looking to me is to speak to them about how I would govern as Prime Minister, and I've done that today. I've done it straight from the heart, I've done it in my own words, and I have said to them, this is how I will govern, this is what I believe in. I believe in work, I believe in giving every child a chance. I believe absolutely that we should be optimistic about the future. I believe we should show respect and care and concern for each other. I've made those values speak in the policies I have outlined during this campaign. Today, I pulled all of that together, as well as announcing a major new investment in healthcare, using the technology of today, and of course, using the national broadband network in the future.
Now, Kevin Rudd received a standing ovation today. But if he were to walk into a cabinet meeting right now, he would not get a standing ovation from his colleagues, would he?
Well, Kerry, that's a matter for after election day, and my focus is on election day.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, and I'm going to answer it. But I just, in answering it, I do want to say first that this is a tough, close contest. If many of the opinion polls we've seen published are right, then Mr Abbott is heading towards being Prime Minister of this country. What I'm asking people to do in the final week of this campaign is to assess who is better placed to manage Australia's $1.3 trillion economy for the future. If I am re-elected as Prime Minister, let me tell you what will happen at the first Cabinet meeting. No, there won't be standing ovations. People will be there with their sleeves rolled up, down to work, down to business.
And if you do offer Kevin Rudd a genuine senior Cabinet post that he can accept, you would have to acknowledge that there clearly is still a gulf between you and him, a personal gulf between the two of you, and there will be an air of mistrust amongst a number of your senior cabinet colleagues towards Kevin Rudd, who they believe leaked damagingly on you.
Kerry, you started that sentence with an if. There is no if. If we are re-elected, so that's the if, but if we are re-elected, I will have Kevin Rudd as a senior member of my Cabinet team. He is a man of great capacities. I said today at our campaign launch that he is a man who will continue to achieve for this nation. He will do that as part of my team if I am elected on Saturday.
Now, what about the issue of trust between you and him, between your other senior colleagues and him, and between him and them?
Well, Kerry, I know Kevin Rudd well. I've worked alongside him. I've worked alongside him in some difficult times. And obviously, the events of this year have taken a toll on Kevin and his family. It's been very tough for him, very tough for them.
Well, you've said all that before.
And it's the mark of the man that he's out campaigning and at the campaign launch today. And the fact that he's done those things means that if we're re-elected in the future, he will continue to do what is in the best interests of the government and best interests of the nation, and that is to hold a senior position and be a member of the team.
But you still haven't acknowledged this. There clearly is high feeling within your cabinet about him, and no doubt there's very high feeling on his side. How can you be confident that shaky trust or lack of trust can be overcome and that your cabinet will be stable?
Because all of us, Kevin, me, the team, don't think this is about us, Kerry. It's about the nation. And we've come together because we are people who believe in the same thing. And Kevin is motivated today by those beliefs. I mean, he has got up off a sickbed to campaign for Labor. You do that because you're passionate. You do that because you're determined. You do that because you believe in values and vision for this country. If we're re-elected on Saturday, he will show all of those character traits as a member of the team, and we will be there working together, the team united, to deliver for the Australian people what we've promised during this campaign.
Now, I've asked you some of this before, but the reason I've come back to it is because the Rudd factor, as it's been deemed, is clearly still there as a factor in this campaign. Labor's campaign has focused very heavily on the voters' choice between Julia Gillard and Tony Abbott in exactly the same way as the Labor campaign in 2007 focused on voters' choice between Kevin Rudd and John Howard. But after what the Labor caucus did to Kevin Rudd when his public support plummeted, you can't offer voters an ironclad guarantee now that if they vote you in, you will definitely be there for the full term, can you? Because you might, quote, lose your way too.
I can offer voters exactly the same kind of guarantee that Mr Howard, for example, used to offer voters at every election. He used to say that he would be Prime Minister of this country as long as he had the confidence of the Australian people and of his